Welcome to EDU 329. You have received the email concerning our course, and it should have had 2 attachments. And in the email, you were instructed to begin on the first day of class. Today should be Monday, viewing the before you begin PowerPoint. So congratulations on getting started. And again, welcome to EDU 329. My name is Tracy West, and for those of you that I have not had the opportunity to meet, I just wanted to share a little bit about myself. As you will hear a lot during our first lecture, the establishment of relationships and rapport is very important in classroom management. So given the online format, I think it's important that we learn a little bit about each other. I will have some in-office hours. I will be on campus today. Whoops, sorry about this. I am on campus the first day of class on Monday the 14th and will not be back on campus until Tuesday the 22nd. Can be reached via email, and just to let you know, I'll be having some outpatient surgery on Tuesday the 15th. So on the 15th and the 16th, you will not have easy, immediate access to me. So it will be very important that you get started as you're doing today, making sure that you're able to navigate the site, and hopefully there won't be any bumps along the way before I am back on my feet on the 17th. So as you see here, I am in the program of special education. I'm program leader there, and this has been my 12th year at Columbia College. Prior to moving to South Carolina to do my doctoral work at USC, I was a public school teacher in the area of special education for 11 years. Since moving to South Carolina, I married my wonderful husband, who is from Camden, which is where we now live, and I'm very blessed with 2 young children whom you will hear and read about. Hampton, who is finishing 3rd grade this year, and Elizabeth, who is finishing 2nd grade. There are pictures of my family on the door of my office, which is AP 103. And if you do get to come by while I'm in the office hours, when I'm in the office, you can see more pictures around my office. And for those of you that have been there before, you know I do love photos. So just as a side note, this class is one of the favorites that I teach to all of our majors. I teach this course, and I also teach Exceptional Children, which is our Intro to Special Education course that both Dr. Hoyle and I teach sections of. And I think it's important because those courses really go hand in hand as we talk about getting to know all of the learners in our classrooms and leading in our classrooms versus managing, providing discipline in our classrooms versus punishment. Using effective instruction in our classrooms versus ineffective instruction, and making sure that we understand ourselves as the teachers as well as the students, and then the curriculum, and also the demands of our environment. So those are the big 4 areas that we will actually be covering: teacher, student, environment, and curriculum. And you'll be hearing a lot more about that in lecture 1 and 2. So now that you know a little bit about me and my love of this class, I look forward to hearing about you. Your first collaborative post is actually due the first day of class, and it basically introduces you to us. Tell us who you are, tell us where you're from, what year you are, if you're currently working in the schools, or what your current profession or pastime is, anything unique that you'd like to share, demands on your time during this 3-week period if you're working and you have a family or you have 2 jobs. Just share a little bit about yourself. Please note, under the collaboration tab where you do your postings, you also see a classmates or course mates, I can't even remember the language right now, tab, and that's where you can see all of the other students who are enrolled in this class. You can email them from that course mates tab, as well as email me. So particularly on Tuesday the 15th and Wednesday the 16th, if you find yourself needing to ask a question, utilize your course mates, and there will also be a questions folder each week that you could post, and hopefully some of your classmates would reply. But be a true collaborative professional and email each other, reply to emails that you receive, and most definitely reply to this first collaborative post. If you have not replied to the collaborative post by midnight, which is the due date for all of our postings and assignments, I'll contact you the second day of class. If I am not able to contact you that day and I have not had a response from you under the collaboration tab or replying to an email, you will be dropped from the course. So it's very important during that first 24 hours that you are active on the course shell to show me that you are participating. So let's begin reviewing the course schedule that you received via email, and you see just a little blurb of it here. You should have accessed the syllabus and the course schedule. Both were emailed to you, but they were also available on KC. And you should have reviewed this to see that on certain days there will be lectures, which are PowerPoint readings, text readings are referenced, and then any post, course assignment, quiz, etc. will also be listed. So for example, you see the Before You Begin section if you're looking at your course schedule, and then for May 14th, the first true day of class, you see that Lecture 1, the PowerPoint reading, was assigned, as well as the text reading, Chapter 1, and then a second collaborative post. This one is your pledge, what you pledge to do in your classroom, and that mirrors some of the readings that you did in the text. So this course schedule is key to your success. Due dates are critical. You will see again on the next slide. No late work is accepted. In the event that I make an error or Casey is not working, email assignments to me by the due dates, or email that you are unable to post. But do not simply go on at 11:55, attempt to post with no success, and then not contact me. It's your responsibility to be sure that every attempt is made to get your work to me by the due dates. So follow the course schedule. I do have it broken up over weekends, even just to keep at a certain pace. You are more than welcome to move ahead. Please note the quizzes and everything will be open and ready for you. The only thing that will not be available to you early will be the final exam, and it will not open until the last 2 days of class. So feel free to work ahead, but the sequence is there for a reason, particularly for the assignments, which we'll be looking at next. So, as I mentioned, reads are referenced, PowerPoints. If you feel the need to print the PowerPoints, please, please, please print them as either a handout or an outline. Please do not print all of the PowerPoints as full slides, particularly the large ones like number 2. If a link is within a PowerPoint, a hyperlink to a website, that doesn't mean skip over it. It means access it. If I link you to a website, then more than likely you will see that website information on quizzes or on your final exam. And just like today, a couple of the PowerPoints will have audio or video cast. This one was supposed to be a video cast, but my little video camera is not working for some reason. So this one will be audio only, but the others will be posted just as this one was on the center of the main page. So on to the syllabus. The syllabus outlines all of the required assignments and also mentions their due dates. Please note, I had posted a syllabus last week and I had to go back and make 2 pretty major changes. First, there were 3 quizzes listed in the first syllabus, and there are actually only going to be 2 now. And under the personal philosophy assignment, PPA, B, C, D, E, etc., there is a PPF that was revised, and that is your first day script, and an additional statement under the first course requirement, the children's literature review, where it adds these titles should be referenced in your first day script. So if you had printed a syllabus before receiving my email, you probably want to reprint the syllabus or just make note of those changes. Handouts and rubrics for assignments will also be available on the KC site. Hopefully you've looked at the main page and you will see that the dates along the main page and the PowerPoint readings mirror exactly the course schedule that you receive. So again, follow the course schedule. Access the PowerPoints. All assignments should be uploaded under coursework or posted within the collaboration folder, and you're told which to do. It's very important that you label assignments correctly and post them in the correct place. And as I mentioned prior, late assignments will not be accepted. So let's look at the assignments first. And you can go right through syllabus. If you are looking at syllabus on the page under course requirements, you will complete a review of 4 pieces of children's literature, thinking about pieces of children's literature or kids' books. If you're an upper elementary or middle level person, or if you're a special education major interested in high school, choose books that are appropriate. However, even I use children's literature within this class, and yes, you'll be read to a couple of times via the audio or video. But you want to think about what types of books can you use as you establish your classroom management system, or as you are maintaining your classroom management system. It doesn't have to be a children's book on classroom management, but it needs to be a children's book that you could utilize to help establish groups working together, help establish community, could be help establish procedures, but you are to identify the 4 pieces, and then in one Word document you are to provide the title, author, and then the objective, what you choose to use the book for, and then particularly write a 1-paragraph summary of how you would use the book to meet that objective. So for example, on the last day of class, I will read you the book Mrs. Spitzer's Garden, and I read you that text or that children's book on the last day of class to remind you of your role in growing a garden of learners that will go beyond your classroom and continue to sprout and spread their seeds and grow their roots. So telling me what the purpose or the objective of using that book is, and then describing how you will use it. The second assignment listed is a model theorist review, and this is done as a web quest. You will be completing a web quest, which is basically just an online little search, providing following some links provided, and then from that you will create a 1-page summary of the theorist, and then you will be completing a behavioral scenario assignment as a collaborative post. There are 3 online posts, and they are spread throughout, and you will see those on the course schedule. There are 2 quizzes, and they both take place by the end of week 1. And then there is the big personal philosophy assignments, parts A through F. And again, please note the changes. So for the personal philosophy, you're basically outlining your beliefs about how you, or what your understanding is of how children learn, how that impacts management, and then the things that you will put in place in your classroom. Each is outlined specifically on the course syllabus. In addition, there are rubrics available on the main page. But Part A is a paper. It's written in paper format, and it outlines your thoughts on how you believe children learn, and your emphasis on different types of children and how these differences or similarities or diversity impact learning. You do have to use a minimum of 2 references, and you're given an example on the course syllabus. For if you believe that children have different types of intelligences, you could reference Howard Gardner. If you believe that, or if you know that disability and ability may affect or impact class management, you could reference a textbook like your Exceptional Learners textbook if you've had that course. But you must have a minimum of 2 references. Part B takes what you believe in Part A, and it says, okay, then based on what I believe, what do I know my roles as a classroom teacher will be? And you must have roles to address the various groups. And the 4 groups are the student, the family, colleagues or the people that you work with, and your community. For each role, you must include at least 2 specific examples of what you will say or do. For example, with my students, I will be an effective teacher. That's a role that I will play, but you will have more than one role. And then, so what are 2 examples of what you would say or do? I will always come to class prepared, and I will provide hands-on, active, engaging lessons for my students. But you must have roles for working with the students, interacting with the family, interacting with colleagues, and interacting with communities. So that would be, you would have a role with the student, a role with the family, a role with the colleagues, and a role with the community. And then for each role, at least 2 specific examples of what you would say or what you would do. Part C is a classroom arrangement for plan. Yes, this can be done electronically if you want to create something, but you will see requirements on the rubric, and the rubric is found on the KC main page. But you must include the overall design, age-appropriate centers, and flow and access to areas will be evaluated. And then personal philosophy part D is your overall management system. This is your big plan, and it must include each of the 6 things outlined. The strategies for establishing rapport and how that rapport will be maintained, a list of your rules, a list and explanation of some procedures, a list and explanation of consequences for noncompliance, positive behavioral supports, your plan for presenting and teaching the system, and the process by which you will manage the system. You must outline all parts A through G. And then personal philosophy part E is your academic plan, where you use the ADEPT information. If you've had EDU 150, or if you've had EDU 259 with Dr. Lane, you've been introduced to the ADEPT performance standards, and for each of them you must address how your attention to that standard will impact overall classroom management. And again, you see an example there on the course syllabus. And then the final is your first day script, and this will be a PowerPoint presentation. And again, you must follow the rubric for all the required parts. And this is a presentation that you would project on the first day and lead you through all of the things that need to be covered the first day of school. And you will see that your management system, what you plan for PPD, will be evident in this first day script, as well as some of the things that you believe, your roles in the classroom, your children's literature, etc. Please be sure that you access the rubric and include all of the requirements of the first day script. The other things that you see in the syllabus are just a course policy. Given the online nature of the course, attendance will not be taken. However, you see under participation, I will assess participation 3 times with the collaborative postings. Please note you are not allowed to post after a due date has passed, so be certain that you are following those due dates. Due dates are set. No late work will be accepted as mentioned. Classroom behavior. even though we're not meeting face-to-face, due dates deal with punctuality. Written expression will be evaluated very closely given the online nature and the importance of your writing. And please note that if I'm observing or I guess assessing areas that may be of concern, that the formal support process can be initiated. And if that is something that is needed, we would then schedule a meeting and talk one-on-one. If there are any students that have any specific learner needs, you need to talk with me after the first day. Please note that even though we are online, the expectation is that you are following the Columbia College Honor Code, and all communication will be done through Koala Connection and the Columbia College email address. So please be sure you are checking that. In the event that the technology is not available for some reason, I will contact you as soon as possible via your email. So again, it's very important that you use the email within KC. I will try to accommodate you by using other emails from which you contact me, but I cannot guarantee that that all communications will go to your various emails. So please make sure you're popping your Columbia College email into your phone or whatever format you use. Also note that some of the assignments from this course are good examples of artifacts that are utilized for the professional education portfolio. Hopefully you are aware that the PEP, as we refer to it, is completed the semester prior to your directed teaching. That grade does follow you into directed teaching, and it is important that you begin to collect artifacts along the way. So the personal philosophy assignment in particular is one that is used many times within the portfolio. And last but not least, the Education Division is committed to enhancing your leadership skills, and this course focuses on courage, confidence, and competence as we develop the skills you need as a collaborative professional, which is our conceptual framework for teacher educators at Columbia College. And we do this by looking at ways to lead within your classroom to ensure that the needs of all learners are met, and that it's done within a brain-compatible classroom that has a caring atmosphere for all learners. So, any questions? I will be sitting with bated breath from 7:30 until 9 on the first day of class. Feel free to send any questions directly to me. As I mentioned, you can also contact your classmates. There will be a questions thoughts folder for each week where you can post questions for your classmates. So check back there, because if you have a question, more than likely someone else does too. And as I mentioned, all emails for your classmates can be found under the collaboration tab, so you can talk to each other as needed. If you are unable, if for some reason you email me and you do not get a response within 24 hours, please feel free to call the division, 786-3747. Talk with Mrs. Thompson and leave a message. She will be able to contact me. But again, with the exception of the 15th and the 16th, all emails will be replied to within 24 hours, usually within, depends upon the time of day, but I check it pretty closely during an online course because I realize that's our main method of communication. But if you need me immediately, feel free to contact 786-3747, leave a message, and ask them to give me a call. So I'll go towards becoming effective classroom leaders, and I look forward to reading your introductions and sharing this time with you. Have a good evening.